Well, that was interesting. If you can tell, my hair's soaking wet. My son has a camera, so when he seen me come out the door, I had a bag on my head, and I was carrying a bag. Oh my God, it was pouring. Oh, back to my life history. I'm just leaving Jake's now. I better turn on fans or something. Let's see, auto defrost. Is that working? Yeah, that's working. My credit got shot because of my second husband. I'm not having my husband now has excellent credit, almost 900. That is almost unheard of. He don't pay interest on nothing if he uses his credit card, or if I use his credit card. When the bill's due, he pays it completely off. I can't do that. I cannot do that with the bills that I have. If I paid it complete, I owe like $5,000 on one card. I owe $8,000, almost $9,000 on another card. I owe like $500 or $600 on a card. It's like I can make the minimum payment, and that's what I do. And then the minimum payment gives me enough credit that I can use it again, and that's what I live on during the course of the month. So it's kind of weird. Jeff really don't know what my credit thing is. He knows that my credit is shot, and he knows that if we're buying something, like when we got the camper or the RV, that all goes into his name. Nothing goes into mine. The house, when we got the house is in my name and in his name. But like if he was to go buy something, that does not go into my name. My name has nothing to do with it, for the simple fact my credit sucks. His is awesome. We're not bringing him down because of my credit, so we don't do that. Boy, they're soaked. Poor kids. Anyways, then Jeff and I got together. We were together for so long that we kind of tried to sit and figure out how often, because like me and my second husband, we were together, I want to say 3 years. We got pregnant for Garth before we got married, because Garth was like 2 or 3. And 2 or 3 years after that, we got into a fight so bad he had to move out. He actually went and was staying with a friend, because I told him I wasn't going to deal with that. I was done with his shit. I caught him cheating several times. He worked at, I know this is bad to bring shit like this up, especially since he's dead. He's, actually so is my first husband. Anyways, he was living, we split up, then we got back together, and he was working, and he was working at the sugar beet factory, and I worked there too. We worked together for quite a while before I got into management and went into fast food. And he was working, and I knew it was coming close to his lunchtime, and I knew the security guards. So when I pulled up and said, "Hey, I got Garth's lunch," they're like, "Okay, go ahead." I pulled in the parking lot, and the parking lot's really big on the inside there, but I knew where he parked. So I went and I seen him, and it looked like he was in the vehicle. So I come to a stop, get out, take his lunch, go walking over, and I stand at the driver's side door, and I'm looking inside, and my mouth is just like, I couldn't believe it. He was actually sitting in the seat letting somebody him. And I knocked on the window, and he looked up at me, and he was like, "Oh," like that, and I just waved at him. I says, "We're done." And I went out and got the shit together, and it was shortly after that I moved right out of the bedroom. I was sleeping in the bedroom with my youngest son, and then that's when I found the house that I eventually moved out of there. And when the day that I went and signed papers on the house to move into it was in February. And he knew I was moving out. He tried to get me not to move out, but he knew I was done. We were getting the divorce. I was moving out. When I went back to we were living in a trailer. I went back to the trailer to get some of my stuff. He had all my stuff sitting outside in the snow. And my dad showed up. My oldest son's friend showed up, who had one of those flatbed trailers. And we basically was pulling everything from the snow, packing it in the trucks and on the trailer, and driving to my new house. And he tried several different times to get back with me, and I just wouldn't do it. And then the divorce became final. Just before the divorce became final, I had the only two kids that I had at home at that time was Garth and Jake, and they were young. And he knew he was going to have to pay child support. And he turned around, and Garth, they went there they were allowed to go there on the weekends. He started in on Garth and told Garth, I will pay for your driver's training. I will pay for this. I'll pay for everything if you stay here. You are old enough that you can say, Mom, I don't want to live with you. I want to live with Dad. If you do that, there's nothing she can do. So when it come time for me to pick him up, Garth wouldn't go with me. And I was like, what's going on? I'm going to live with Dad. I says, you can't do that. He says, I can do that. I'm old enough to do that, Dad. We already checked with the police and everything, and they said that I was old enough. I think he was 15, something like that. I'm like, are you serious? You want to live with your dad? He said, yeah. There's nothing I could do. I was hurt. I was upset. It broke my heart, but there was nothing I could do about it. So I went in. I figured out how to do the back window too, by the way. We got ready to go to court, and because I had Jake living with me and he had Garth living with him, there was no child support. Nothing. My insurance covered both the kids, and then he had insurance on both the kids too. So it was like there was nothing that I could do about it. And shortly after that, he was a drinker. He wasn't paying his bills. He got his water shut off. I found out that him and Garth were actually having to go to the neighbors with a 5-gallon bucket to get water to flush the toilet because he had his water shut off. He went to work drunk, and they were going to fire him. And then he turned around and started making threats that if you fire me and cause me to lose my son, which that was one of the stipulations, he had to continue working, I will take a gun up to the tower and I will shoot every white hat that I can. Now, granted, white hats are the supervisors at the sugar beet factory. So that obviously got him into trouble. And then as soon as that happened, he basically lost his job. He was in a union, so the union's trying to get his job back, saying he just went through a horrible divorce, blah, 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 because I'm the worst thing in the freaking world. And that's why he was drinking, and that's why he made that threat, because if he loses his job, there's a chance his son will have to go live with his wife, which he should have been with me in the first place. But, that's his power was to be able to keep Garth, and in order to keep Garth, he had to keep his job. And they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll have this meeting with the union and the owners, all, the top dogs, all the shit that they're going to do. And then they turned around and he shows up to the meeting drunk. And the union looked at him and said, how do you expect us to fight for you to keep your job from being drunk at work, and you show up to the meeting drunk? Reeking of alcohol, reeking. And so they basically told him, we can't help you, you screwed yourself. So as soon as that happened, he turned around and he lost the trailer that we were living in at the time, or he was living in. He had that because his mother and stepfather was the one that helped us get that trailer, because we were living in an apartment. But anyways, he lost his job, and he was basically lost his home, so he was going to have to go move with his mother and stepfather up north in, I don't even know where the hell it is. It's far up north. And Garth said, no, I ain't going with you. And he goes, you have to go with me. And Garth says, I'm not leaving school, because he was in high school. He says, I'm not going all the way up north. I'm staying here in Bay City. I'm going back to Mom. And he got pissed. He was so pissed that Garth decided, because he lost everything because he's a drunk and had to go live with his mom. And Garth said, no, I'm not going. I'm staying home here in Bay City. I'm calling Mom. And he called me and can I come home? I said, yeah. I don't know why you left in the first place, but yeah. So that caused a lot of problems, and he basically drank and drank and drank, and he went downhill fast. He was living for a while in Cass City. All he did was drink. He had a girlfriend. I believe he had another kid. I believe he had a daughter. He got into trouble because he had his father's gun. That his father, when his father died, he got his father's gun, and then he apparently threatened the girl that he had gotten pregnant that had his baby, to the point where she got a thing against him where he couldn't come around her or the baby. He got the gun taken away. He wanted Garth to ask me if I would go put the gun in my name so that he could get it back. And I'm like, do I have stupid on my forehead? Are you fucking nuts? You think I'm gonna go help you get a gun? Wow, that was a good one. That caused a good chuckle. But anyways, his mom kicked him out because she couldn't put up with his drinking either. And he had a sister that lived in Montana. And so he contacted her and asked her if he could please come stay there because he had nothing here, and whatever the deal was, everything was bad, and well, the roads are starting to really flood. So she said yes, and then he went there, and she was married to this guy that had money, and he had like a side-by-side or something like that, and he got drunk and took the side-by-side and smashed it to smithereens. And then he did a bunch of other shit from being drunk. And finally she said, you have to leave. And he's like, I have no place to go. What am I supposed to do? So they had a shed on their property. And they put a bed in it. And they had like a little refrigerator and whatever. That's where he was living. He wasn't working. All he was doing was drinking. And 2 days before his birthday, somebody went there for something, knocked on the door, and he didn't answer, and they knew he was there because he didn't go nowhere. And then when they got into the place, they found him dead. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. So that's how he passed away. The first husband that I was married to, John's father, the one that I was with when I was 15 and 16 years old, he had a drug problem. And once I got away from him, he did have another wife, and he did have other sons, because my oldest son John does have a brother named Wyatt, I believe his name was. But John didn't have much to do with his father, and his father lived down in the Flint area, and the woman he was with, or his wife or whatever, they would be together, break up, be together, got a divorce one time, I heard, and then remarried. But anyways, the last fight they got into was because he was with another girl, whatever the deal was. Now mind you, this is years and years ago. But anyways, he got into trouble and he had to go to court, and they caught him going into one of those rooms off to the side down the hall of the courthouse, which happened to be judge's chambers. And he went in there and nobody was in there, so he started going through the desk, and then he got into a briefcase, and he got his hands on some money and a credit card or what have you, and he got caught. So they had charges on him. He got found guilty. He was getting ready to be sentenced. He was not in custody, but he was getting ready to be sentenced. And I don't know how it worked, but somehow or another, when they went, he was supposed to show up at a certain time, and he didn't. And they went looking for him, and they found him and the girl he was with both OD'd on some bad drugs, and were both dead. So I did tell my husband now, Jeff, that he better never think of divorcing me, because I've been married 3 times. I'm on the 3rd time, and the first and the second people after we were divorced is dead. So therefore, Jeff, don't divorce me, because you never know what's going to happen. Jeff thinks that's funny when I say that to him. I mean, seriously, that wasn't, not trying to make funny. It's been years now, so it's not like it's raw. It's not raw. But I don't mean to make fun of it, because my first husband, Chris, was John's father. But now John is another thing. My oldest son, John. I have not spoke to that kid in, I'm calling him a kid, but he's like 44 years old. Don't need to be speeding down through here. He has an alcohol problem. And since he was young, he has a substance problem. And every time he is cornered or caught or what have you, he blames me. He says that I'm the reason he's like he is. I'm the reason he drinks. I'm the reason he smokes dope. I'm the reason he did drugs. I'm the reason he has done all the things that he has done. And it gets to a point where you're like, okay, you cannot blame me for your drinking. I am not there holding your mouth out, pouring the shit down your throat. You're the one that does not have a backbone and is not strong enough to say, I don't need to do this. Because he has lost jobs. I can't even tell you how many jobs. He's smart. He's smart. He was making very, very good money. And I'm not kidding. He was making awesome money. He was working in China. He was going to China, working 60 days, coming home for a week, getting his visa redone, and going back and working. He did this for like a year. But at one point, his wife, he was married, she couldn't take it. At first, she wanted to say that his problem is a disease. He has a disease. He needs, whatever for this disease. And, probably right. But then you got to get to a point where you're strong enough to fight that disease. He never fought it. He always assumed or said, because he basically said it, I don't have a problem. I can control it. I can do this. No, he could not control it. He'd get paid a paycheck, and more than half of it would go into lottery tickets, alcohol, dope. So it just got to the point where no member of the family would have anything to do because he would borrow money from them and never pay it back. He always had an excuse. Nobody's talked to him in... Oh shit, I shouldn't have come this far. Anyways, his father died from an OD, and now he is an alcoholic. His wife divorced him. His oldest son is the one, my grandson that is in Germany, who gave me a great-grandson. I am a great-grandma. Dexter is my great-grandson. And then we have Jonathan and Ethan. Leslie had 4 children when John and her got together, and then John and her had Jonathan and Ethan. And he has not seen or talked to his kids in years. Before that, I think the only reason he wanted to have anything to do with his kids is because I think he was thinking he was hurting Leslie, but he didn't realize it wasn't Leslie, it was the kids. He was hurting the kids. And it's bad. I actually need to see him pretty soon. And Jonathan, I see you like Nana's videos on TikTok. Thank you, baby. I love you. Every video. He must sit on TikTok all day. See, a lot of people just watch me on TikTok. A lot of people just watch me on YouTube, look me up on YouTube, and then most of the people, the majority of the people, the 2,100 people, watch me on Facebook Reels. But anyways, Todd, everybody knows Todd. We're in the process of finding out. He got into trouble. He served his time. He got out of the state prison, and he was picked up immediately by the marshal and taken because he got sentenced to a year and 1 day for shining a laser pointer in the sky at a helicopter that just happened to be a police helicopter. And he got into trouble for that. If it would have been sentenced for under a year, he probably would do this time served and be fine. Shit, my husband's calling. I'm not gonna answer. There. Anyways, he is supposed to be getting shipped out to Oklahoma. That's where the hub is for the federal, and then they'll decide how much time they're going to make him serve out of the year and a day. Because technically, if they go like they're supposed to, he should only have to serve like 2 months or maybe be on a tether. But they consider him minimum, so now he's got to go there, and he is due to be shipped out almost any time. So that's the second son. The third son is my Garth. That is the one that works over at Deals on John Street off Henry. And then the youngest one is Jake, and that's the one that I was just at. He works at O'Reilly's. So that's my 4 sons. That's my 2 ex-husbands and the current husband. And I am coming up on Patterson, so I am almost home. And I'm pretty sure Jeff just called because he's home too. So these are a couple long-ass videos that I've done, but I kind of shared a lot. And it all started out this morning from one person who didn't like me sticking my fingers into my food that I made to break up the cheese. See how fast things happen? I like talking while I'm driving, though. This is kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and probably give Jeff a call back, because knowing him, he's like, are you going to stop at the store on the way home? Which I just passed back that way. So it'd be like, no, I'm on my way home. But I'm hoping everybody's having a great day. I do got to do something today because I gave away more than half of the macaroni and cheese that I made. I think I still have a piece of chicken, which Jeff will probably have. I just don't know what we'll want to do for dinner. Jeff might be going to a game, and if he is, then I'm not going to bother making nothing big. But tomorrow is the day that I have to take Harley in to get his blood tested to find out if the insulin is working. I hope it is. I hope it's to the point where he can not have his insulin upped. But I got a feeling it's not, because he's still like yesterday. He peed the bed. He didn't do it last night, but I didn't sleep worth shit because I was worried that he was going to do it again. So I was like, every time him or Max moved, I jumped up to see, what is going on? You got to go out. And it's cooler today. That feels 100% better. Not looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, 90s. Chance of thunderstorms. And I got to take Harley to Standish at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So it's like, life goes on. We keep going. Keep working. Keep going. Keep pushing. Now I think giving you guys a little background on me, you probably see why I'm the fruitcake that I am. I'm not totally nuts, but for being 60 years old, I went through a lot. I'm older now to where a lot of things don't bother me. I don't give a flying anymore. But then, like that one day, I just lose it again for no reason. Bleh, go crazy. But I'm better. I feel better once I get to explain kind of how my situation is and why I am the way that I am. How I survived being a mother of 4 sons, and where I'm at in life at this point. And the next chapter will be what I want to do in life and what my goals are, and that if I can do it, anybody can do it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead. I'm on Bay right now, which is the real smooth road. I got it in 4th. I'm going to go up to 5th just so I can relax a little bit. My cousin lives right up here. His name is Tom Pembroke. He makes pickles. And I got one of his jars, so I'm going to have to take that back to him. I go past and I never see him out. When I do, I'm in a hurry somewhere, so all I do is wave. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now because I've got another over 20-minute video. I'll post them all at once, one right after another once I get home. I hope everybody's having a great day. We needed this rain. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.